I had some questions about the soft top textures, which I just released a few days ago. These are textures for Procreate, Photoshop, and Affinity Designer and Affinity Photo. I'll probably be releasing a version for Adobe Illustrator and Corel Draw, but these will be more like pattern tiles instead of brushes. So right now these are brushes, they're pressure sensitive brushes. So if you have a drawing tablet, an iPad, a Wacom tablet, something like that, you can paint these textures into your designs. You can build up light to dark gradients. So I'll just give you an example here really quick. So I've got this Procreate file here, got this little bird character. The bird is not actually included. A lot of people are asking that because I do a lot of graphic and logo templates, but maybe I'll put that in a future release in case you want to use it for t-shirt graphic or something like that. But let's go into a layer and let's go into these brushes. The other thing I'll mention really quick is the reason they're called soft top textures. So they're actually inspired by soft top surfboards and boogie boards. So if you look at the texture of a screen printed graphic on a boogie board, that's kind of the inspiration. So they're just something a little different out of the ordinary. You know, everybody's kind of using a lot of the same types of textures these days, halftones, and you know, that's great. But if you want to make your graphic look quite a bit different, this is a good way to do it. These are raster textures, so if you want to turn them into vector graphics, you'll have to kind of do that manually. I've got a few other videos on how to do that. But so there's 10 different textures, and there's a light, a medium, and dark version of each one. So for instance, I've got one called Petroglyph, which is one of my favorite. There's one called Pebbles. There's Pavers, which is really cool. Let me just show you how the Petroglyph ones work. So if I were to paint on this guy's beak, and we can just, let's scale down the size of our brush a little bit. So you can use like a really light pressure and get like a really light pattern. And you can kind of just add pressure and build up that texture. So this is the light one. You can actually build up a pretty good pattern. Actually, I want this layer to be under the line work. There we go. And so that's about it. We can go to the medium version of this Petroglyph texture and build it up further. See how that texture just kind of builds up like that. Maybe I'll go back to the light. And you can blend them really nicely. You know, if you want to go really heavy, you can go to the dark version and, oops, switch the erase there. So you can just build it up really heavy. Let me show you actually a blank image here, and I'll just turn this to black. And let's pick a different one. Let's pick these pavers because these are kind of cool. So you can just start really light like that, add a little pressure. See how that texture builds up. And I'm actually pressing quite a bit, and that's about the max for the light version. Then we go to Pavers Medium. See, that's a little thicker there. And we can go to the dark. and you can kind of seamlessly blend these textures. So I'm just adding a little more pressure, and then you can get it to almost a full coverage. Yeah, like I said, they're available for Procreate, for iPad. If you don't have Procreate, get it. It's cheap and it's awesome. They also work in Photoshop for desktop. They actually don't work in Photoshop for iPad. They do, but you can't scale the texture. Let me show you that actually really quick. So let's go back to this Pavers. And if we want to scale this texture, we go to grain, and you can scale it up this way. But what I like to do is, let's just actually type in an amount. So I'll type in 85. And what we want to do is, if we want to build up the texture, we'll actually go to the medium version and go to grain again, type the exact same amount, that 85%, and then we'll go to the dark and we'll do the same thing. That way, if we want to build up these textures again, they'll overlap perfectly. So if we had done different values like 70% scale, 80% scale, 90% scale on the light to dark, the textures just would be a little like out of whack. They wouldn't line up. So let me just show you this. This is, undo that. Oh, I was on the dark. Let's go to the light. And let's give it light pressure. A little bit more, a little bit more. Build that up. And then we'll go to the medium version. Pick up where we left off. You can add to the pressure to get it, the texture thicker. And then yeah, so you can build up a gradient, which is really nice. Going back to this bird graphic, so you can use these for backgrounds. You can use them to actually shade your graphic to give it some more depth. Yeah, there's just so much you can do with these. And yeah, just have a look on the product page. I'll probably add in the bird graphic itself at some point, and as well as versions for Adobe Illustrator and Corel Draw. I may also do a automator version for Photoshop where you can paste in like a photograph, and it'll kind of halftone your photos with this texture. So yeah, just have a look out for that. If you order early, you'll get all these free updates for free just via email. Thanks for watching.